It starts with the scrape of a stool leg against the floor, too sharp for the room. Someone at the far end near the bar shifts in their seat, trying to look casual, but the movement draws a glance from the waitress, balancing an empty tray. The piano in the corner plays itself, soft, barely there, like a hotel lobby on mute. A couple in their 40s clinks glasses too carefully. Most conversations hover at the level of breath, murmured, or simply suggested. That's the whole point of this lounge. The envelope. No phones, no flash, no birthdays, no shoes that click when you walk. Which is why the voice, light, rhythmic, a familiar cadence rising over the bar menu, doesn't register at first. It's not loud. That's the thing. It's not a scene. Just a few syllables with that Busan lilt curling on the end of a sentence. A girl at the third table freezes mid-sip. Her friend's eyes flick from her drink to the corner booth. Two men in hoodies, faces down. The waitress hesitates. No one reacts. The voice rises again, still soft, but in the dead hush of this room, it curls like smoke. That's when the bartender, too fast, steps forward. "Sir, if you could please keep your voice a bit lower," he says, neutral, eyes scanning for eye contact that never comes. The room exhales, but something is wrong. One table laughs, too late. A woman near the entrance looks at her lap like she's dropped something. The girl at the third table doesn't blink. Her phone's already in her lap, lit, thumb frozen just above the camera icon. She mouths something. It might be, "No way," or, "That's him." No one answers. No one moves. The two men at the booth are silent now, faces still turned inward, like they didn't hear. But the sound of that second sentence is still spinning, like it's bouncing off the low ceilings and folding back in. A new group walks in, but they pause at the threshold. One of them sees a face, stops. The man in the hoodie shifts his hand to his drink, and someone in the back, it's unclear who, says wait. Not loud, just off key. It's too early to tell, but something has already cracked. A flicker passes through the room, like static. Not attention yet, just potential. At the third table, the girl's friend leans in, whispers something urgent, but the girl doesn't answer. Her phone is still in her hand, screen dimming, thumb tapping nothing. At the bar, someone orders a drink, and the bartender mishears it, repeats it wrong, then doesn't correct himself. The two men in the corner haven't moved, but now the one closer to the wall, not the one who spoke, adjusts his cap just slightly, like he's remembering it's on his head. The waitress with the tray returns, slower now, hovering in the aisle longer than necessary. She's watching the third table. So is the guy at the high top by the door, who's only been pretending to read the cocktail list for the last 2 minutes. The music stutters, just once, a mechanical glitch, and it's almost too on the nose. A woman near the middle booth glances sideways, clearly about to say something to her date, but doesn't. Instead, she looks again at the corner. A whisper starts, not from one place, but from a misaligned cluster of mouths. "That's not. Wait, it can't be. No, seriously, it's..." But no one finishes a sentence. No one says the name. A man near the back clears his throat, loudly, as if to reset the room. But it only emphasizes how little there is to mask. In the lull, the same voice comes again, quieter now, aware, asking something about the drink, the lighting maybe. He still hasn't been named, but that's what makes it worse. The silence isn't natural, it's waiting. A phone falls, not from the third table, from the next one over. A short clatter, screen down, too fast to catch. No one laughs. The girl at the third table finally lifts her phone. She doesn't aim it. She just holds it face up on the table, recording audio. A small red dot. Nothing happens, but everyone is now performing silence. One of the men stands. Not abruptly, not dramatically. He just stands like someone who needs to stretch, casually, like it's nothing. But he shouldn't be here. That much is clear now. This space doesn't know how to hold him. When he straightens, the fabric of his hoodie catches the light. A faint shimmer, almost metallic. Not loud, but wrong. A woman near the bar visibly recoils, just half a step, but it's the first fully unfiltered reaction. The man who stood doesn't acknowledge it. He doesn't scan the room, doesn't perform the glance. Instead, he tilts his chin slightly toward the other, still seated, and says something low. It's unclear whether it's Korean, English, or just a name. The sound doesn't travel, but the gesture does. The bartender, who's been polishing the same glass for over a minute, finally sets it down without finishing. The woman who recoiled pretends to look at the wine list, though her hands are shaking. At the high top, the guy stops pretending and turns completely toward the booth. His phone is still face down, but his hand is resting on it now. Not hiding, not filming, just waiting. At the third table, the red recording dot is gone, replaced with a camera app. Still not filming, just aimed. The seated man finally looks up. He moves slowly, deliberately, not like someone hiding, like someone trying to delay being seen. But his face is visible now. Not fully, just enough. Jawline, hair, mouth, the pieces that matter. Someone, no one knows who, lets out a short, involuntary laugh, immediately followed by a gasp. Not theirs, like the laugh pulled something out of someone else. The room doesn't fall silent. It falls crooked. Conversations splinter into fragments. No, but don't. It's not. Please tell me that's. None of it lands. The piano's auto loop stops entirely. It had been filling the air like static, and now without it, the breathing becomes audible. A glass clinks too loudly against a countertop. In the far corner, a man pulls his phone out and points it toward the ceiling, like he's filming something else, like the booth just happens to be in frame. The waitress backs into the kitchen door without realizing, then reemerges too fast, like she forgot something. The man who stood doesn't sit back down. He takes one step toward the exit, but it's not decisive. It's exploratory. The woman near the bar starts typing something on her phone and deletes it. Types again. Stops. They still haven't said his name. No one has. But that's the only thing holding this together. Because the second someone says it, the room stops being a room, and everyone knows it. The moment stretches, not in time, but in thickness, like the air itself has changed density. The man who stood doesn't walk away. He turns half a step, enough for profile. That's all it takes. One girl. Not the one at the third table, a different one, near the window, with a scarf and half-drunk espresso. Lets out a brittle, dry, "Oh my God," but too quietly to anchor anything. It's not a scream. It's worse. It's the sentence that makes every other table pivot without coordination. The girl at the third table flinches, as if the recognition stole her chance to be first. Her phone lifts instinctively, but she catches herself and lowers it before recording. Across from her, her friend mouths, "It's him. It's actually him." No one responds. The booth is too still now. The man seated doesn't move. The man standing keeps his head turned, not fully facing the room, just open enough that any illusion of anonymity is gone. Still no name, still no proof. But the room is reacting like there is. At the bar, the bartender turns around as if reaching for something, but doesn't touch anything. His hands just rest against the shelf. On his face, nothing readable, neutrality curdling. Someone at a corner table stands, not to leave, but like a glitch. Halfway up, then back down, pretending to stretch. A flash goes off, too fast, a mistake. Not a photo, not aimed, just a lock screen that lit too bright for a second and triggered a reaction across 6 tables. The woman near the window snaps her head toward the flash, like it betrayed her. She's the first to pull her phone close to her chest, screen tucked down, already filming. The ones with more shame wait, watching her, pretending they're above it. But she's not looking through the screen. She's watching him directly, phone angled, recording from her lap. That's what makes it worse, that she's not hiding. And still, she's not doing anything wrong. Not technically, just observing. The waitress starts approaching, tray empty, not sure where she's going. Her eyes flit to the bartender for a signal. None comes. She looks down, turns back, leaves. The man who stood shifts his weight. He notices now, not just the stares, but the type of stares. The held inhales, the poised fingers, the anxious, shaky grace of a room that hasn't yet decided if this is a story or a crime. Still, no one says it. Not out loud. But mouths form it. You can see it in the murmur patterns. Jimin, Jimin, Jimin. No question mark, no confirmation. Just a creeping certainty that no one wants to claim first. The room splits into 2 factions. Those who are looking directly, and those who are looking at the ones who are looking directly. The man who remained seated moves now, not dramatically, just adjusting in his seat, but the room flinches anyway. A glass nearly tips. A fork hits a plate too sharply. Then a girl, maybe 18, near the back, says it. Not loudly, not softly, just clearly enough. "That's Park Jimin." The sentence is received like a dropped match in dry grass. Eyes widen. A phone rises, fast this time, already filming. Another flash. Someone bumps a chair trying to stand and backs into another table. The air tears. Not with screams, with movement. frantic but muted, like everyone's trying to keep the noise down while racing to be first. The man who stood takes a full step now, toward the door. The seated man looks up and doesn't blink. He doesn't smile, doesn't wave, just watches. The bartender moves now, not fast, not urgent, but toward them. It's too late. The room isn't a room anymore. It's a funnel. Every line of sight is on the booth, phones out, no longer pretending. This isn't intimacy, it's exposure. Jimin still hasn't spoken again. That's the worst part. The silence from him makes the noise around him louder, more grotesque. It feels like looking directly at something too human and too polished to exist in this context. And yet, it does. And yet he's still standing there, in this lounge, in this sweater, in this city, in this moment that no one understands, but everyone is already trying to upload. He doesn't move fast. He doesn't run. That's what makes it unbearable. He walks like someone leaving a dinner early, politely, apologetically, as if slipping out would preserve the moment for others. But there's no preserving it now. A man by the entrance reaches out, not to stop him, not even to touch. Just a hand lifted halfway, palm open, instinctive, like catching a falling glass. It doesn't land anywhere. Jimin passes by without looking, that same faint shimmer on the sleeve. The door's only a few steps, but it feels like a tunnel. Phones track him like weather vanes. They don't chase, not yet. That would be too raw. Instead, they observe him leaving, and that's worse. The one who stayed seated finally stands. Not abruptly, no gesture here is. But the moment he does, the room forgets how to behave. A girl near the piano sobs once, sharp and fast, like it surprised her. Someone else hisses, "Don't," at no one, maybe at themselves. The bartender doesn't stop them, doesn't block the way, doesn't say a word. He just steps to the side. His tray is still on the counter, untouched. The man who stood first reaches the door. It opens slowly, too quietly, like even the hinges are afraid to add sound. Cold air breathes in from outside. Street sounds, a horn, distant brakes, life beyond the glitch. He steps out. Inside, the second man follows now. Every phone reorients. This is no longer a whisper. This is a trace. People are filming openly, not just him, the space he leaves behind. The booth, the drinks, the untouched glass, the receipts on the table. Every object becomes part of the proof. A napkin is quietly taken by someone who doesn't look up. A woman at the bar deletes a video and instantly begins filming again, this time narrating under her breath. There's no consensus. Some are crying, some are smiling too hard, some are backing away like it's radioactive. At the window, the girl who first said his name now stands frozen. Her screen still glowing, footage still recording, her hand shaking, but not enough to stop. She doesn't blink. She just watches him leave. The man at the high top walks backward to the wall, phone angled low, lips parted in disbelief. The two friends at the third table don't speak. One's biting her thumb. The other's looking at the ceiling, both still recording. Jimin doesn't look back. The man behind him, the one who never said a word, follows. No bodyguards, no manager, no performance. Just two men who shouldn't have been here, who knew they shouldn't have been here. And yet, the door shuts behind them, quietly, fully, no slam, just a seal. The room stays still for one long second. Not reverence, not awe, just pure, unfiltered conflict. Then it breaks, not like a scream, like a scramble. Dozens of fingers moving at once, uploading, messaging, captioning, linking. This just happened. Is this real? Tell me I'm not crazy. A girl pulls up an old concert video, pausing it frame by frame, comparing. A man refreshes Twitter. Another checks Dispatch. Someone opens Naver and starts translating search terms, but the air has changed. The lounge, the envelope, doesn't recover. Every surface now feels touched. Every sound echoes wrong. The music restarts, a quiet jazz loop, slightly off time, but it's unbearable now. The bartender steps out from behind the bar and starts collecting glasses, but his hands are clumsy. The waitress leans against the kitchen door and stares at nothing. No one knows what to say, because there are no explanations, no narrative, just presence, in a space that should have rejected them and didn't, and now can't pretend it did. No one understands what they were doing there, but everyone feels, viscerally, that they saw something they weren't supposed to. Not scandal, not crime. Something worse. A proximity that shattered the logic of distance. A girl types a caption and deletes it. then another, then another. She finally settles on nothing. Just the video. No words, just the door. Just the moment they passed through it. Just the proof that this happened. And the question, loud, silent, bleeding under every post and DM and group chat. What were they doing there?